Srimad Bhagavatam 5:14-20. Srimad Bhagavatam 5:14-20. Saha eva punah nidra ajagara grihitah andhe tamasi magnah shunya aranye iva shete na anyat kinchana veda shavah iva apaviddhah. स एव पुनर्निद्राजगर गृहीतो अंधे तमसि मग्नः शून्यारण्य इव शेते नान्यत् किंचन वेद शव इवापविद्धः. Saha, that conditioned soul, eva, certainly, punaha, again, nidra ajagara, by the python of deep sleep, grihitah, being devoured, andhe, in deep darkness, tamasi, in ignorance, magnaha, being absorbed, shunya aranye, Haribol, Haribol, nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. It has to be repaired. In the isolated forest, Iva, like, Shete, he lies down. Na, not, Anyat, else, Kinchana, anything, Veda, knows, Shavaha, a dead body, Iva, like, Apaviddhaha, thrown away. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.S. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Shukadeva Goswami continued speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. My dear king, sleep is exactly like a python. Those who wander in the forest of material life are always devoured by the python of sleep. Being bitten by this python, they always remain in the darkness of ignorance. They are like dead bodies thrown in a distant forest. Thus, the conditioned souls cannot understand what is going on in life. Please repeat. Shukadeva Goswami continued speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. My dear king, sleep is exactly like a python. Those who wander in the forest of material life are always devoured by the python of sleep. Being bitten by this python, they always remain in the darkness of ignorance. They are like dead bodies thrown in a distant forest. Thus, the conditioned souls cannot understand what is going on in life. Purport. Material life means being fully absorbed in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Out of these, sleep is taken very seriously. While asleep, one completely forgets the object of life and what to do. For spiritual realization, one should try to avoid sleep as much as possible. The Goswamis of Vrindavan practically did not sleep at all. Of course, they slept some, for the body requires sleep, but they slept only about 2 hours, and sometimes not even that. They always engaged in spiritual cultivation. Nidrahara vihara kadi vijitau. Following in the footsteps of the Goswamis, we should try to reduce sleeping, eating, mating, and defending. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the subject matter is sleep here. Prabhupada said Bhagavatam class is cure for insomnia. People start to sleep in Bhagavatam class. What is that? Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati samyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. 269 Bhagavad Gita. What is night for all beings is the time of awakening for the self-controlled, and the time of awakening for all beings is night for the introspective sage. So sleep, there is the sleep that we know, which everybody does, and also the sleep, the spiritual slumber, where we are not awakened to the reality of our situation, who we are, we do not know. So this is sleep, especially this material sleep. There are three states of consciousness, Jagrati, Swapna and Sushupti. Jagrati means wakefulness, Swapna is dreaming state, and Sushupti is deep sleep. Actually, from the spiritual standpoint, which is the Turiya state or the fourth state, from that standpoint, all of these are actually slumber. Like, for example, whatever happens in the dream in the night has no consequence when we wake up. It is just some illusion that is created, and that's it. It has no existence after that. Whatever we have earned in a dream, we cannot take it further into our so-called awakened life. But we consider this state as wakefulness just because it is longer. It is a longer sleep, that's all. But comparatively, the dream in the night is of maybe a few seconds or minutes. Comparatively, this life of 80 years or 90, 100 years may appear long, and therefore we think this is real and that is some illusion. But if we see from the viewpoint of eternity, which is even longer, then we will see that each lifetime, whatever we create and earn, it will be finished. So this is also sleeping position only from the spiritual standpoint. So if we engage in devotional service while we are in this material body, we are beginning to awaken, actually. Even though we may perform activities with this material body, but still the consciousness is Krishna consciousness. So that's actually what makes it spiritual and beyond the illusory activities of this material world. So Nidra Ajagar. Ajagar means snake. Grahito, and sleep is considered here to especially python. Python swallows its prey completely. So the sleep consumes us, and when we are sleeping, we are like a dead body basically. The dead body will look no different than a sleeping body, only it is breathing. Other than that, we're completely devoid of awareness of the external circumstances. So actually, Prabhupada explained that because the body is still usable, the soul again revives the activities of the body every morning. But when the body is no more usable, it will quit and then it will never come back. Otherwise, in dreaming state, it is going here and there in the subtle body, and by the will of the Paramatma, the body is being maintained while we are asleep. So we breathe without us knowing. Our heart beats without our knowing. And also, the urge to evacuate will also disappear when we are sleeping. So this is done by the action of the Paramatma. Otherwise, we cannot sustain even the sleep. We cannot have. We are sleeping nicely only because of the Paramatma. Now, sleep, we understand that we need sleep. Otherwise, in the day, I can't function properly. But why do some people need more sleep than others? That is described as the influence of the modes, Sattvagun, Rajagun and Tamogun. Those who are tamasic, they sleep 12 hours or more a day. Rajasic, they sleep 8 to 10 hours. Sattvic, they sleep 6 hours a day. So, we should reduce our sleep, but not artificially. 6 hours we must need, especially in this current stage. Of course, the Goswamis, Prabhupada explained, 2 hours they used to sleep. So how is this possible? And yet function without any problem throughout the day. And if you see, Arjuna also was called Gudakesha. Prabhupada also quoted here, Nidrahara Vihara Kadi Vijitao. Vijitao means one who has conquered over nidra, ahara, vihara, viharaka, adi. All these, so sleeping, eating, recreation, all these things he has conquered. The Goswamis have conquered. Arjuna also was called Gudakesh, means the conqueror of sleep. So to come to this position, it should not be artificially done. We must raise ourselves to the proper platform, and then this is a consequence of that. But still, we must exercise some control. And the practical tips of how to do that, don't make sound when you're closing the door. When you're eating less, then the sleep also will be less. If we eat more, what will happen is all the energy of the body will be used up for the digesting the food. And nowadays they call it food coma. After eating, there comes a lull. One wants to sleep. And if we eat more atyahara, then there will be more sleep. And I think, what is this? I'm 31, let's see. Here it's Vyasana Bhujaga. Vyasana Bhujaga Sandashta Santrana Mantram. This is the material life. Bhujaga means snake. Vyasana means the material distress. So it's a very nice verse from Mukundmala Stotram. Shatruchhedaika mantram sakalamupanishad vakya sampujya mantram samsarochheda mantram samuchita tamasah sangha niryana mantram sarvaishwaryaika mantram vyasana bhujaga sandashta santrana mantram jihve Shri Krishna mantram japa japa satatam janma safalya mantram. O tongue, please constantly chant the mantra composed of Sri Krishna's names. This is the only mantra for destroying all enemies, the mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads, the mantra that uproots samsara, the mantra that drives away the darkness of ignorance, the mantra for attaining infinite opulence, the mantra for curing those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly distress, and the mantra for making one's birth in this world successful. So, python of sleep means, it devours, right? The python just swallows its prey. So similarly, our lifetime is being swallowed by the python of sleep. We think we live for about, say, on average 60, 70, 80 years, but almost more than 1/3 maybe is gone in sleep. How many years? So that is swallowing of our lifetime. Ayur harati. Harati means it is being destroyed. Our lifetime is being destroyed in maintaining this body. If you see ahara, nidra, bhaya and maithuna are just bodily necessities, they're just for maintaining the body. If you have a car and you spend the whole time just maintaining your car, and if that becomes the goal of your life, then it's a complete waste of time and energy, right? The car must be used for some work. And yes, the car has to be maintained, but not the whole life becomes about maintaining the car. So similarly, the body has to be maintained and then use it. Make maximum time for the actual purpose of this human body. So we have to always analyze like that. What is this? Not this word. 11.9.29. We should analyze whether my activities are just for maintaining this body or making use of the actual purpose of this body. Labdva sudurlabhamidam bahu sambhavante manushyamarthadamanityamipi hadhirah turnam yate tanapate danumrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. After many, many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which, although temporary, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. So, as long as it has not fallen down and died, the body has to be used in Krishna's service. And this verse also says, Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jignasa nartho yascheha karma bhihim. 1-10 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth. Nothing else should be the goal of one's works. So if we have 99% of the time of our life wasted in just maintaining the body, that includes not just eating, sleeping, mating and defending, but the secondary activities which fuel these primary 4 necessities of the body. For example, ahara. For ahara we must have food. For nidra we must have shelter. Then bhaya, we should have a secure place and some insurance. And then for maithuna we must have a partner. So in this way, there is these are necessities, and to maintain all this, vitta, we need money, and to get money we need work. So you see how many chains of activities we have to do to get to these primary 4 necessities of the body, fulfilling these 4. So it not just means eating, sleeping, mating and defending, but all the corollary activities that come with it. That is the sum and substance of material life. Hardly any time is left. If any time is at all left, it's used in entertainment. So modern technology, science is all about how to waste our human life more and more. You can, first of all, they make it difficult to have these 4 things, ahara, nidra, bhaya, maithunam. You have to work hard and you are taxed a lot, and they will artificially on the other side pep up stories like success stories where rich and famous people are called successful, and therefore a culture is created where if one earns more money then he is seen as successful. So to want to show oneself as successful, one tries even harder than it's necessary. So in this way, artificial anarthas, these are called anartha. Artificial necessities are increased. One thinks that, one has to do something extraordinary to earn more money or fame or whatever in this world. As they say, strive for excellence. For what? Become an excellent slave of the capitalist? Yeah, they will throw you some dog biscuits of salary and some awards. Okay, here, take it. You're first, you're top, this thing and that thing. They'll throw some dog biscuits and keep you a dog. Slave. So that's what is happening. But for the dog, it's a big prize. For the dog biscuit and the bone or whatever, it's a big prize. Oh, yes. And for that, you'll do anything. You'll jump around like anything. So all these unnecessary things, ahara, nidra, bhaya, we are creating already so many activities to just maintain this ahara, nidra, bhaya. Apart from that, some unnecessary stuff just to inflate the ego. People only talk about inflation in the financial context. But actually, ego is also being inflated by so-called advancement. So those are already distractions. Apart from that, if you have any free time to not make you think about life, there is now a robust entertainment system. TV was not enough, radio was not enough, TV was not enough, smartphones were not enough, social media not enough, AI, and I don't know what more will come to grab our attention even more and more and more. So we are forever thrown in this python of sleep, slumber. In fact, they have a coding language, Python. Create code so that you can sleep more in the spiritual life. Create code, do games, do programs so that you sleep. Python, very good name they have, Python. So that is the coding of this material world. Either actual sleep or the slumber spiritually, all sleeping. See? So here, Nidra Jagara. What is that? Nidra Jagara Grahito. Grahito means being devoured. Grahita means to capture. So we're being captured. Now, we have to limit this. That comes from not again trying to artificially limit sleep. We have to create other things conducive for us to be able to limit our sleep. Just like, that common example which I always quote of Srila Prabhupada explaining the difference between yogi, bhogi and rogi. Yogi is the self-control person, bhogi is the sense enjoyer, rogi is the diseased person. And in Ayurveda, the symptom is a yogi, he will pass stool once a day. Bhogi passes stool twice a day, and rogi passes stool 3 or more times a day. So that is yogi, bhogi, rogi. So now, one disciple heard this in the class and then tried to control his, urge to evacuate, because he heard that yogi should only pass stool once a day. So he was in great anxiety. So Prabhupada asked, what happened? So he said, no, I heard about yogi, so I have to be yogi. Prabhupada laughed and said, no, please go to the bathroom now. He said, to control this number of times is not to control at the valve is not at the anus, is at the rectum, is at the mouth. If you control the mouth, then the rectum will automatically be controlled. So the control valve is somewhere else. Although the symptom or control of the lack of it is seen somewhere else. So similarly, in order for us to reduce sleep, it's not that we should be sleep deprived and then not be able to function. And that is not the point. If we need more sleep, that means we are taking more time to recover from the tiredness of the day's work. And much of the tiredness, of course, there is physical tiredness, but there is also mental tiredness. And spiritually, we are being drained. In the modes of passion and ignorance, such drain will occur much more. and therefore they need much more time to recuperate their energies. There's a lot of anxiety, it's a lot of pain in Rajasic and Tamasic platforms. So throughout the day, they're doing many things. They're so active either in material work, or they're also anxious, they're also hurt. So in these ways, our lifetime is being consumed. But the more we come to the mode of goodness, sattvagun, evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha. What is that? Sthitam sattve prasidati tada rajastamo bhava kamalobhadayaschaye cheta etai ranavidham sthitam sattve prasidati. So when we are in the sattvagun, when prasidati means we become very pleased, become very happy, free from anxieties, free from the majority of anxieties of material life, if we are in sattvagun. If our tada rajastamo bhavaha kamalobhadayaschaye. So the things that are draining our energy is kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Our lust for material things consumes our, how much we have to think and plan and meditate on, earning money or, getting an opposite sex. Like what is that? There is a verse in Bhagavatam, 11th canto. Greatest misery is the misery of finding sex. That's the greatest misery. I do not know exactly. Is it this? Yeah. The real misery is to be implicated in searching for sex pleasure. How many people waste their lives in these sort of things? So when we drain our energies like this, then we need, of course, more time to get our energies back for the next day. So that's what extends the sleep in the night. So in order for us to reduce sleep, we have to become more and more Krishna conscious. Then, that's now we have seen. Actually, these 5 verses, they go together actually. Prabhupada quotes them in many places all together. Shrinvatam svakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridyantah sthohya bhadrani vidhunoti suhrit satam. By hearing about Krishna Katha, Punya Shravana Kirtana. Punya means it is pious, but also Punya means original. Punya Shravana Kirtana, in case. Punya Gandha. You see, 7-9. Punya Gandha, what is that? Prithivyam cha. Punyo Gandha Prithivyam cha. I am the original fragrance of the earth. Punya means that which is not decomposed. Punya is original. So if we take this definition, Haribol, python of sleep. Haribol. That's what we're talking about. So, Punya means original. Punya Shravana Kirtana means the original Shravan Kirtan. That means as it is. We are not changing the message. If we hear something else, then that is not Punya Shravana Kirtana. That is contaminated. But Punya Shravana Kirtana means the original message we have to hear in the Parampara system, Okay, so when we do that, hridyantah sthohi abhadrani. What do you do? The dirty things in the heart become cleansed. Vidhunohi, vidhunoti suhrit satam of the devotees, it will be cleansed. Dhunoti means, dhobi. Dhobi, right? Dhobi Ghat. There's Dhobi Ghat station, right? There is actually Dhobi Ghat. In Hindi, that means, the place alongside the river where the dhobi, the washerman, washes the clothes. So that is coming from the word dhunoti. Dhunoti means to cleanse. Vidhunoti means completely cleanse. Vikrishta rupena. Then the heart becomes cleansed. Then what will happen? Cleansed of what? Now we will go there, but here, the means of cleansing. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naisthiki. This is how to cleanse. Nashta prayeshu. Prayeshu means almost. Nashta means destroyed. Almost all the dirty things in the heart will be destroyed by nityam bhagavata sevaya. If every day we read Bhagavat. Srimad Bhagavat means anything related to the Lord. Of course, Srimad Bhagavatam is called Bhagavatam because it is related to the Lord. So whether it is Krishna's own instructions or about Krishna, that is all Bhagavat Sevaya and the service to the pure devotee who is a Bhagavat. So when we do this, then Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu, almost all the things become cleansed. Why almost? Because there will be cleansed until one comes to the point of prema, all the things are not completely cleansed. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naisthiki. Then one comes to the Nishtha platform, which is firmly fixed up in devotional service. Such a program should be had where we become firmly established in devotional service. Then what happens? Tada rajastamo bhavaha kama lobhadayaschaye cheta etairana vidham sthitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of the nature's modes of passion and ignorance such as lust, desire and hankering disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. You see, to reduce sleep, we have to do these things. Increase our Krishna consciousness. What is that verse in the Upanishads? Always the first line, I forget. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. First one is what? Asatoma Sadgamaya. Asatoma Sadgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Then Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Then, so for peace, we must come from asat to sat, from material to spiritual, from asat sanga to sat sanga. And then tamasoma jyotirgamaya. We have to not stay in darkness, come to the light. That means we have to wake up. The light is on, but if I am sleeping, it will be dark. So I have to wake up. So what is this awakening? Awakening means this knowledge. This Deepavali just concluded yesterday. So Deepavali actually means, of course there are so many historical contexts on this, Vedic historical context. Ramchandra Bhagwan came back to Ayodhya and they received him with lamps. And Krishna killed Narakasura. And also even demigods are worshipped because, who is killed on this day? I don't know if Mahishasura was killed on this day. I'm not very sure. Maybe it's Navaratri. I don't know. So many, and of course the Damodar Leela happened on this day. But also the significance is that we must light our life with knowledge, the lamp of knowledge. And the lamp of Krishna consciousness, not simply knowledge, some vague knowledge, Krishna knowledge, which is actual knowledge. So that is the tamasoma jyotirgamaya, mrityorma amritam gamaya. Don't stay in this world of death. Come to the land of immortality, which is Vaikuntha. When there is no kuntha, then there is shanti. So this is the message of the Vedas. So tada rajastamo bhava. So even when our passion and ignorance goes away, a lot of trouble can be mitigated. A lot of trouble. Then sthitam sattve prasidati. You have read that part? Tada rajastamo bhava kama lobhadayasche chetayate ranavidham sthitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is established in the heart, the effects of the nature's modes of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankering, disappear from the heart. Then the devotee is established in goodness and he becomes completely happy. When we are happy throughout our day with Krishna conscious activities and service, then we don't need that much time to recuperate our energies in sleep. See? एवं प्रसन्न मनसो भगवद भक्ति योगतः भगवत तत्व विज्ञानम मुक्त संगस्य जायते. Thus established in the mode of unalloyed goodness, the man whose mind has been enlivened by contact with devotional service to the Lord gains positive scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Then finally, भिद्यते हृदय ग्रंथिश्छिद्यन्ते सर्व संशयाः क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि दृष्ट एवात्मनीश्वरे. Thus the knot in the heart is pierced and all misgivings are cut to pieces. The chain of fruitive actions is terminated when one sees oneself and one's master. So this is the full program of conquering sleep, and of course that is addressing the issue from the spiritual side of things, but from the material side, there have to be some regulations also, so that our spiritual life is unhindered. Otherwise, it will be hindered. Just like if we are Krishna conscious, then we will automatically not have attraction for material enjoyment. But still, one is not only depending on the strength of one's spiritual advancement, because in the beginning one is not advanced, and therefore there are some regulations. Okay, minimize material demands, like for example for the sex, it is minimized to marriage, for procreation within marriage. So in this way it is minimized. Such restrictions are there, but allowance is there, so that our spiritual life is not hindered. There is enough time for spiritual life. Otherwise, if one goes on without any restriction like a pig, then one whole life will be just wasted in this so-called family maintenance. So the whole idea is to minimize that, so that we have time for spiritual life and energy for spiritual life. And once one becomes more and more strong in one's Krishna consciousness, the more and more one can spontaneously give up in material life. Virakti should come. Virakti means disgust towards material life. One can perform one's activities on the platform of disgust for material life. For material life means for sense gratification. If one has disgust for it, like who is that? Yamunacharya said, what is that? Nari sangame smaryamane sushtu nishtivanam cha. He said, whenever I think of sex life with a woman, my lips at once curl and I spit at the very thought. So that is virakti, spitting at one's own the desire for material enjoyment. So it should become so disgusting. That can only happen when we have full experience of spiritual bliss in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we cannot do that. So in the Bhagavatam 3, 9, 10, it is mentioned here, Ahnyāpritaर्थकरणान् निशिनिश्चयानान् नानामनोरथधिया क्षणभग्ननिद्राः दैवाहतार्थरचना ऋषयोऽपि देव युष्मत्प्रसङ्गविमुखा इह संसरन्ति. Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and thus they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world. So this is the other reason why they need so much sleep, because they're having so much insomnia, either from anxiety or from too much excitement. When we are too excited about something, we also cannot sleep. So sometimes they're too excited about some materialistic plan, and sometimes they're too anxious and too much suffering that they cannot sleep. So all these are distractions. 3:9:20. यो विद्ययानुपहतोऽपि दशार्द्रवृत्त्या निद्रामुवाह जठरीकृतलोकयात्रः अन्तर्जले हि कशिपुस्पर्शानुकूलां भीमोर्मिमालिनि जनस्य सुखं विवृण्वन्. Is this the one? Oh, you accept the pleasure of sleep. Okay, this is the Lord's sleep. No, I want to wait. Yeah, this is the one, 3:26:30. Yes. संशयोऽथ विपर्यासो निश्चयः स्मृतिरेव च स्वाप इत्युच्यते बुद्धेर्लक्षणं वृत्तितः पृथक्. So the symptoms of intelligence are mentioned. Doubt, misapprehension, correct apprehension, memory and sleep as determined by the different functions are said to be the distinct characteristics of intelligence. Now, he talks about many things here. Now, smriti means memory and swapa means sleep. Sleep is also necessary to keep the intelligence in working order. If there is no sleep, the brain cannot work nicely. In Bhagavad Gita, it is especially mentioned that persons who regulate eating, sleeping and other necessities of the body in the proper proportion become very successful in the yoga process. These are some of the aspects of the analytical study of intelligence as described in both the Patanjali yoga system and the Sankhya philosophy system of Kapila Deva and Srimad Bhagavatam. So you see, sleep is necessary, otherwise brain cannot work. Now we have also explained, how much sleep is necessary for the brain to work again properly. It depends on how much we drain our brain during the day. So with Tamogun and Rajogun, it happens more and therefore they need more time. But if we are Krishna conscious, there is so less anxiety. And actually, the anxiety in Krishna consciousness, of course, we should be anxious in Krishna's service. It is not that Sattvagun means devoid of material anxiety. But beyond Sattvagun means there is spiritual anxiety. All the devotees were anxious. The gopis were anxious to see Krishna. And when Akrura was taking them away, they were anxious. Hanuman was anxious to find Mother Sita to bring her back to Lord Ram. So in the matter of service, there will be great anxiety. But such anxiety is not draining like material anxiety, because one works for Krishna. In fact, one is still rejuvenated, it is still ecstasy because it is for Krishna. It is completely different from material anxiety. Material anxiety is extremely draining. Spiritual anxiety is not. It in fact inspires one more and more. So such anxiety, spiritual anxiety, is the way to conquer material anxiety. Prabhupada said, tax your brain how to preach. That is the best way to control the mind. We must tax our mind by always thinking how to preach and actually engaging in such preaching. Then our mind will be actually controlled. But if there is no activity for the mind, then the mind will default to material activity, because that's what we knew from many, many millions of years. So in this way, basically, if we eat less, then we also sleep less. And if we sleep early in the night, of course we cannot sleep too early, so at least 10 o'clock, then it's easy to wake up at 4. So we have to mold our activities in such a way that we sleep when we have to, and then we have to work when we have to. All right, so I will stop it here. Any questions or comments? I actually cannot hear some of what you're saying.
They eat and sleep in proper proportion, right? So what about those? For example, if they go out the whole day, they're doing some service the whole day, and they end late, they come back, and some of them they wake up here. Then after the whole day they can't sleep, and they have to release on a regular basis. What about them?
Yeah.
How do they manage?
No, they must get enough sleep. They must. Whole day means what? Until 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Deepavali fair. No, you must take some nap in the afternoon then. If you drain yourself, then you will just quit. One day you cannot take it anymore, and then you quit. What we used to do, Deepavali fair especially, book distribution marathon. So we'll go until 12:01, or even more than that by the time we sleep. So next day, go there, start early. When there will be others who come, at the time we used to sleep under the table there. In the fair itself. One must learn how to do these things.
Sometimes if there's not enough people.
Then you have to slog it. Slog. Do the work. No, everybody must cooperate. So, if one person is working, the other person should not sleep all day. So there has to be, so one must adjust our activities like that. Of course, if nobody is there, then slog. That's what we used to do before when nobody was there. Just slog the whole day. And then sleep, wake up, again slog the whole day, again slog the whole day. That's how we used to do. Back in those days, nobody was there. Now there are like so many devotees who at least here and there, and then weekends we have a lot of a lot of help. Anyway, one has to adjust. Any other questions? At Prabhupada time, they used to distribute books whole day. Come back, they could not sleep because they were so excited about book distribution. And they used to exchange their stories. Hey, this happened, hey, that happened, hey, this happened, that person came, this person came. It was just an ecstasy. Next day again, they go out. So, when it becomes spiritually charged, it becomes ecstatic. Of course, we require some sleep. We have to sleep. That's why when we chant also, we should not chant our 16 rounds for 8 hours. Then we will have time. If we chant for 8 hours for 16 rounds, then we will have no time for anything. We have to be focused when we are chanting and finish, so that we have time to sleep and then go. If suppose you're waking up early and finish your rounds, take some rest and then go. Take about a couple of hours and then go. If there is absolutely no one. We used to do that as well. 8 to 10 morning sleep and then go. By the time finish your rounds, sometimes not able to finish. Just when we open in the first few hours, not so much crowd, we chant there. Somehow we manage. Alright. Kantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Pramanande.